All right, welcome back to Propelify. This has been a really exciting build up to what you're about to see, the CleanTech Impact Challenge, where one very fortunate startup is going to win $50,000 cash prize, press, mentorship inside PSEG, a potential for a fast-track pilot, and a whole lot more. I'm really excited about how we can leverage New Jersey and our partnerships, especially here as exhibited with PSEG, to accelerate opportunity, not just for that company, but also to build a better future for all, which is the intent of this entire week's event. Today, focused on Better Planet. Thrilled to have CEO of PSEG, Ralph Izzo, today as one of our judges. Ralph, thanks so much for being here.
Great to be here. Thanks very much for having me, Aaron. As always, it's great to be here with Andrew and Diane as well.
Really appreciate your support and how much you've personally been involved. I've seen a lot of outfit changes as we go, and I think this one might be my favorite.
I'm trying. I really am trying to freshen up a bit. There you go.
Well, we like it. We also have one of the judges, Andrew Yang, the 2020 U.S. presidential candidate. He's an entrepreneur and founder of Humanity Forward. He's got a great book. We met a couple of years ago, but I'm really excited to see how much you've grown on the national stage with a really, really important message. Andrew, thanks so much for being back with us at Propelify this year.
I'm thrilled to be back, and this is the kind of stuff I love, where you have these awesome startups coming up with technologies that will actually help us preserve our environment and operate more efficiently, and we're going to deem one of them the winner, and then they're going to get plugged into the PSEG empire and bring that technology to the masses. This is awesome. So I love this stuff.
This is awesome. We're very excited. And Commissioner Solomon, thanks so much for being here as well.
And I'm thrilled to be here today. Thanks, Aaron.
Let's get into a little discussion before we bring on the startups. Ralph, what's been exciting for you in this CleanTech Impact Challenge? What are some of the entrepreneurial ideas or just some of the energy that you've seen? When we first started, I think you were supportive, but maybe a little apprehensive. We've come a long way, and it seems like you're fully embraced the challenge now. I'm curious what your experience has been and what's been exciting for you in the process.
Well, first of all, it's hard to believe it's been 6 months since we started talking about this, but I am delighted to see where we've ended up. Three great ideas that are coming to us today, and they span power supply to energy efficiency to storage. And that's exactly what I hoped would happen, right? We would unleash the spirit of entrepreneurs, and the timing couldn't be better. We were just recently given approval for a $1 billion energy efficiency program. So I think these entrepreneurs are competing for more than a $50,000 prize. They're competing for the opportunity to really launch their products in a very big way here in New Jersey, if we can deploy them for some of our customers. So I think we're making ideas turn into reality, and that reality will be one where less carbon is emitted and the world is a better place. So being here with you and Andrew and the whole Propelify team has just done a fabulous job. Thanks so much, Aaron.
Well, thank you. I really appreciate that. Andrew, you've traveled the country seeing a variety of issues, surface. What have in regards to building a better planet and in working with big corporations to get there, what gives you hope in challenges like this? That, Ralph pointed out, the $50,000 is great. As an entrepreneur yourself, we know how important every dollar is, but that's not really the most impactful reward here. Like, what do you see as the opportunity with these kinds of partnerships?
It's the verification by an organization like PSEG that says, look, not only are we going to put some resources behind this startup, but we are going to explore a trial that would roll out to thousands, tens of thousands, even hundreds of thousands of customers. And I've been an entrepreneur. I've led companies. You have too. And you're always looking for a catalyst. You're always looking around saying, ooh, what's this? There's this CleanTech competition. Like, hey, we qualify for that. And then you scrap and claw and put your best foot forward. And then if you win, and I have a couple of these things, not this particular type, but I have one. It is such a galvanizing event for your team, for investors, for press. Like as a startup, you're just looking for ways to generate energy around your business. And this competition is generating a ton of energy for each of these companies.
Totally agree. Diane, what are your thoughts?
Well, first, let me say that New Jersey is very excited about our clean energy future. And the CleanTech Challenge for the BPU is how to reach a clean energy future while maintaining reliability of the grid and ensuring that both residential and commercial ratepayers can afford to remain in the state. So Tech United's CleanTech Challenge gave me some insight into innovative solutions to meet these goals, and I was thrilled to be able to participate in yesterday's selection of the finalists. In fact, the 3 semifinalists collectively address issues that will be important to moving forward with our clean energy future. Accelerate Wind presented a clean generation solution by placing wind turbines at the edge of buildings and also combining that with solar arrays on rooftops. Power Edison, with its mobile storage proposal, tackles the reliability concern. And Wex Energy looked to the least cost solution for clean energy, and that's being energy efficiency. Actually, after I heard the winners or the 3 finalists, I thought it would be interesting to have them team up on a single project since they encompass all those 3 goals. And, New Jersey needs partnerships like the one you've created with Tech United and PSE&G to stimulate and activate the market to support these burgeoning technologies. And that's something that's really important moving forward to, in fact, I think it was one of the panelists from EDA was talking about, the venture capital money that is available, hopefully to these clean tech innovators that we can help stimulate by having this challenge.
With what's going on now in particular, and when we look at this as a reminder, right? This challenge is focused around the future of work, because we recognize that some of these advancements in technology will disrupt the workforce. They're focused around energy equity for the same reason, that we recognize that they won't necessarily or by default create opportunities for everyone. So when we think about and obviously the table stakes of reduction of energy usage and energy innovation, which I don't want to take for granted. But when we think about those as the tent poles that we're focused around, why do you think now is such an important time to be pushing some of these technology-based advances forward?
The hallmark of each of these proposals is that they're, for lack of a better word, implementable. If these are initiatives, these are actions that we as a company can take, and in some cases, some of these technologies individuals can take. And while I would love to see some concerted national action and a demonstration of international leadership on the part of America to tackle this incredible problem, it just hasn't been happening. So I think a lot of folks, including PSEG, are saying, well, what can we do? And this is actually doable. I mean, whether it's a rooftop wind turbine or coating on a window or a mobile battery storage device. I mean, these are integrated solutions that a company like ours can make happen and put people to work and see bills get lower and see less carbon in the atmosphere. And I guess a lot of us are just kind of tired of waiting for that national leadership. And so we got to get going.
I think a lot of us are tired of that national leadership. Andrew, how can more companies do things like this? Spoiler alert, Ralph just mentioned the products or services of the 3 companies that we're focused on, which it's fine, we're about to see them. But, how do entrepreneurs think about making a big impact in this space when it can be such a resource heavy industry to break into?
I think the leadership that Ralph and PSEG are providing here really should be an example for other companies to emulate, because it's good for the business. You end up getting an inside track on what innovators and entrepreneurs are working on. It's good for your customers. It's good for your employees to know that you're actually trying to make strides in the right direction. It just takes some leadership, energy, and initiative, really. And congrats to you, Aaron, and Propelify for help to organize the different parts of the puzzle, because I've been the CEO of a company, and if someone comes to you and says, hey, I've got a great opportunity for you, you put up some resources and help make your company a proving ground, then you'd get excited. But as a CEO, you may or may not know that that's something you can do and also execute at a high level, because as a CEO of a company, you want to make sure it works. So hopefully what we're demonstrating today shows that this process does work, and it can work for all sorts of categories in industries.
Before we get into the startup pitches, I want to reiterate something that Andrew highlighted. The reason that I'm so excited about what Tech United New Jersey can do for the startup community is exactly what he pointed out. Like you know him on a national stage. He's been the lonely entrepreneur trying to build a company, and we can all relate to how important it is to get corporate support and press and mentorship and capital. And that's exactly what this CleanTech Impact Challenge was designed to do, to accelerate businesses, create opportunity, and to make it happen here in New Jersey. So, I just can't highlight that point enough, and I'm so proud that Tech United could bring this collaboration together. So that said, let's get to it. Let's bring on our first finalist. And as a reminder, there were almost 60 applications to this challenge. We narrowed that down to 13 because we struggled to get those to 10. We did finally get them to 10, went through a very intensive semifinal recently, narrowed it down to these 3. And so regardless of the outcome of the winner, we should start with a big round of applause. So because Erica and all the other finalists, this was not an easy feat to get here. So whether or not you win or not, we are definitely proud of you. So here you go. Good job.
Yeah.
All right. So Erica, you have a couple of minutes to pitch. The floor is yours whenever you are ready. This is Erica with Accelerate Wind.
So rooftop solar is a $9 billion US market today, but most commercial buildings can't meet their entire energy demand from solar alone. So at Accelerate Wind, we've built an affordable rooftop wind turbine that's complementary to solar, letting a roof produce 25% more renewable energy with the same payback time as solar. Our design uses the fact that wind speeds naturally accelerate along the edges of roofs, where solar is typically not installed. This faster wind speed generally occurs too far above the building to be captured affordably, but our patent pending design uses an optimized airfoil system to draw this wind lower to the roof surface, increasing our energy production to rates that are 3 times that of competing systems. We also reduce costs by selling our technology directly through existing solar installers, taking advantage of their decades worth of expertise, reducing costs in areas such as customer acquisition, installation, and permitting. We've worked extensively with several solar installer partners to make sure that our tech is able to be installed using equipment and labor that they'll already have on site at their installations. We spent the past 3 years proving out our technology and business case, first as an invention of mine while I was a Fulbright Scholar in the Netherlands, and then building prototypes alongside experts at Argonne National Lab with about $900,000 in funding from the Department of Energy and National Science Foundation. We're building our first paid pilot now at a site in a low-income neighborhood in Milwaukee, where it will be installed alongside solar and storage and used to train low to moderate income workers. And this will provide them with a high-paying skill set and will give us an installer base ready for future jobs as we expand. We have considerable interest from several large corporations for future installs, and our customers have told us that New Jersey is a key place to expand into, as many small businesses already have solar on their roofs and are hungry for more renewable energy solutions. And so we'd love to work with the community to find pilots here and to help bring green jobs and a clean energy future to New Jersey. Thanks.
Awesome. Nicely done. Thank you very much. You could stop sharing your screen. So to go to questions, we're going to start with Ralph, if we could. Any questions for Erica?
Yeah, Erica, it's a 3-part question. I'm going to cheat a little bit. Could you just help me out with what would be a typical install size? And I think so. It's about $1,500 a kW. Is that correct? And then what would the capacity factor be for the back period?
Sure. So typical install size is a 5 kilowatt unit. So something I didn't have time to mention is we've designed this kind of be like solar, where you'd install a certain number of modules depending on how long your actual roof is. That also makes it easier for the solar installers to use their existing labor to install it. So yeah, 5 kilowatt modules at scale, $1,500 per kW is about right. You know, for our pilots, it's going to be a little bit more than that until we get our manufacturing process at scale. And then typical capacity factor around 30% or so.
Andrew, going to you. Any questions for Erica?
I'm curious what you think of as like the early adopter base. Like, what are the types of buildings that would be the best fit for early installations? And my related question is does this change the aesthetics of a structure from the ground level. Because if you have solar panels, then generally no one can see it, and if you do see it, then it seems like great. In this case, it seems like you're making use of the air current patterns around the edge of the building, and so it seems like you kind of need to put it in a place that's evident. And whether you've gotten any feedback as to whether that's a factor. I'm imagining a way it's like, could you make it somehow? It looks beautiful from what I can tell, and so if I saw it, I might look up and be like, oh, like there's something very modern looking about this building. But whether you've heard of any concerns around appearance?
Sure. Yeah, okay, so starting with the first question, what a typical pilot looks like, or early adopter, I guess. So what we found is there's a lot of early adopters who are just the people who are really excited about green buildings and clean tech. There's people who want to install all the new technology on their buildings and are looking for the next thing. So that's the early adopters, the people that we're installing our pilots with. We've also been kind of surprised, happily surprised to find that a lot of these early adopters are people who are also have a mission to install in lower income areas. So like our pilot in Milwaukee, that's going to be our first paid pilot, is part of a project to train local people in the area on solar storage and wind. So we'll have a ready install base for when we grow, which is awesome. So yeah, that's early adopters. Following that, there's a lot of people pushing for net zero energy buildings and that don't have a lot of solutions there. Even some regulations requiring it in some places. And so that's a good place to grow. And then as far as the aesthetics go, yeah, we've thought a lot about that. You will see it. There's no way around that, as you said. And we actually, early on, we had like a mock building with probably 5 or 6 different designs for different aesthetics that kind of work the same from a performance standpoint. And we took that around to like about 100 different types of customers to get their feedback. And so the image I showed there was the most popular. We're going to keep doing that. One of our big grants right now is to work with architects and keep doing those kind of community building studies, because for some people it's great that you can see it and it's like a showcase of look at what we did, and then some people blending in is better. So we're trying to strike the right balance with what we have, but continuing conversation.
I think the design's really well done. I can see why it's the most popular. Like I'm imagining ways that you could try and almost make it some kind of value add. I'm imagining.
Honestly, yeah, that's another early pilot, is places that want to show off that they're doing green technologies and tell the outside world.
Yeah, or I'm even imagining in like or something where you actually even have like the name of the company or the developer, not your company, but like, sort of like turn it into something where it seems like a futuristic, building sign or something where instead of it being like, oh, what is that? Instead, like you might maybe even like, use it as like messaging space for the landlord or the company.
That makes sense. Yeah. Yeah, we've talked about that a little bit, but haven't gotten super far into that, but that'd be cool.
No, it's a consideration for down the
Amazon
road.
branded turbine.
Or something cool. Like you make it just being like, or like the, I'm imagining if it's like a commercial landlord, like a lot of those buildings have names, so you could have along those lines.
Which, by the way, is a very, very expensive thing to install, and they sell the rights to those naming rights. And if Andrew's onto something here, and you could tie that in and make it a cost savings that's a revenue generator that provides energy, there might be something really interesting there.
That's pretty interesting. Yeah, I'll look into that.
Yeah, no, because right now what you've done, which I appreciate, is you've optimized to minimize any negative aesthetic impact, and I'm trying to like reverse that to be like, oh, is there actually like a positive value add proposition here that you can like like pitch as part of it?
Yeah, kind of the Tesla make it sexy so everybody wants it kind of thing.
Yeah, and not even necessarily branding your product, but you could brand whoever is behind the install.
Yeah. Unfortunately, we've got to move on. We have one more question from Commissioner Solomon.
How much generation can we actually expect from the edges of building? We're such a densely populated state. it's not like large land masses where most wind is generation or the majority of wind turbines are located. How much can we actually expect to produce from that type of installation?
We're estimating that on an average building, so that's average across the US, that our wind turbines will generate 25% additional energy on top of what solar generates. So if you generate a megawatt hour of solar, we'll generate 250 kilowatt hours of wind. That's kind of the number that also we found customers were looking for to be meaningful enough to try something new, basically. And that number is based on an assumption of a building that has 2:1 aspect ratio, so go on the long edge of the roof. It seems to be about an average building size. And then as far as densely populated areas, we do really well on buildings that are tall or long, I would say. So like the picture that we had in our pitch was kind of a long kind of office building. And there you tend to have a parking lot out front where the wind can accelerate and go over the edge and just a lot of wind space or roof space. And then like our Milwaukee pilot is just a building that's taller than everywhere else, and we're still able to generate pretty significant energy.
Very cool. Erica, thanks so much. And by the way, I'm really glad, people don't know Milwaukee, New Jersey, but so glad that New Jersey is the early adopter there.
Oh, yeah.
Really, really great job. Congrats again on being in the finals. Thanks again. And we're going to move on to our next pitch. Good job.
Congratulations, Erica. This is awesome. I can't wait to see these all over the country.
Thanks a lot for the opportunity. Really appreciate it.
Well done.
Yazan from Power Edison, you're up next. Whenever you're ready, the floor is yours.
Everyone, great to be with you today. So Power Edison is a New Jersey-based company and a provider of utility-scale mobile energy storage solutions. The company is funded by New Jersey's CleanTech Entrepreneur of the Year, Dr. Curran, who founded Petro Solar, and in a partnership with PSE&G actually developed the world's largest solar electric project in 2009. So energy storage systems are flexible assets able to perform over 20 services on the grid, and is considered to be the holy grail of the power sector and a key requirement for arriving at a 100% clean energy grid. But the issue with energy storage systems is that they're expensive and underutilized. So at Power Edison, we've developed mobile battery energy storage solutions and a business around repurposing the systems throughout its life through proprietary software to maximize system economics. For example, the energy storage system can be deployed at a school to help shave their electric peak and provide clean power. And then in the event there's a hurricane resulting in power outages, the system can be moved to provide power to shelters and vulnerable low-income communities. Or perhaps if there's a hot summer day where additional capacity is needed to deliver power and avoid a blackout, energy storage systems can be moved and connected to those circuits. So similar to Uber and Airbnb, we have taken the concept of a shared economy and applied it to energy storage to accelerate the transition to a clean energy future. Thank you.
Nicely done. Thank you, Zan. You can stop sharing your screen, and we'll do the first question this time with Commissioner Solomon.
Since you are going to be recycling batteries and producing the storage capability, is this something that you believe that you're going to need a subsidy for, or because you're using batteries that are already being recycled, that there's a natural marketplace for you that it wouldn't require you to actually need a subsidy to get this to market?
So we actually recycled batteries. The cost of storage has gone down tremendously, especially for batteries, for lithium ion specifically. That recycled batteries, you can recycle batteries and reuse them, but it's actually better just to use brand new batteries. And if you deploy them right, you can get a long 15-year life out of them. And so right now, through mobile storage, you can actually deploy the asset enough to make it a prudent investment and great for all the stakeholders involved.
Excellent. Next question will go to Andrew Yang. Any question for Yazan and Power Edison?
It seems like this could have great utility in multiple environments or multiple types of implementations. Where are you seeing the most enthusiasm around early adopters. Again, as an entrepreneur myself, I just think like, all right, who are the first customers? I get really excited about this. So given the breadth of applications, like where's your company focused in terms of the first place to get some meaningful adoption?
No, that's a great question. So actually the biggest adopter of energy storage systems, especially mobile energy storage systems, actually with regulated utilities. They have the best use of them. They can deploy them year round for a bunch of different services across the grid, and they can deploy them the most prudently currently. And I can't think of a better entity in the state to implement, state policy. Right here in New Jersey, we have a goal of 3,000 megawatts goal for energy storage by 2030. And so regulated utility would be a great partner to deploy these energy storage systems prudently throughout the state.
If only we had a regulated utility representative on the call. Next question for Ralph, the CEO of PSEG, the largest regulated utility in New Jersey.
Yasan, thanks. Very exciting. So it's obviously modular. So
Yep.
therefore I conclude it's scalable. So tell me what the unit costs are and how those change with scale.
Sure. So the systems that you saw on the screen there were actually a smaller system, 250 kW, 1 megawatt hour. So fairly sizable, and that's on the lower end. And we can go up to multi-megawatts, tens and hundreds of megawatts. And that system is basically a modular system based off of a 2 megawatt or 2.5 megawatt. And then we can put enough batteries for a 4-hour system, a 5-hour system, 6-hour system. The costs, they vary according to where you're deploying them. If you're deploying them in the middle of New York City versus deploying them in an open space somewhere. But usually you can figure out, it's probably around $300 kilowatt hour all the way up to $700 a kilowatt hour, somewhere in that range, depending on the configuration and the power ratings and the energy ratings.
Ralph, in an effort to make you as uncomfortable as possible, how likely is it that PSEG could get behind something like this?
Well, so as Yasan mentioned, because of the flexibility of the system, there are multiple uses. Yes, it's just something that come to mind is, as you said, in storm response, if you could quickly mobilize the unit for a hospital to back up energy supply. Similarly, sometimes you get circuits that have sudden changes in their consumption patterns. Either a piece of equipment has gone bad or a new load has moved in. And when we redesign a substation, it's tens and tens of millions of dollars. It could be $100 million. And you have an overcapacity situation. Well, a battery or a storage system might allow you to delay that. So you save on the cost of money, and then you redeploy the system once the battery is no longer adequate. So there are niche opportunities for this technology in a variety of places, from customer specific to grid specific, that one could put into effect. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, and you may have mentioned this earlier, or heard it somewhere else, Con Edison has been deploying these in various parts of their service territory, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yeah.
So it sounds promising. Yazan, congratulations on making it to the finals. Thanks so much for your participation today, and good luck.
Thank you, Aaron. Thank you, everyone.
And then last but not least is Rachel from Wex Energy. Rachel, whenever you're ready.
I'm Rachel Rosen, CEO and co-founder of Wex Energy. As a multifamily and commercial landlord with nearly 30 years experience, I know what keeps my customers awake at night. Big Impact is at the core of our sustainably designed simple solution. Carbon reduction and energy savings powered by measurable financial results. Let me explain. 2/3 of today's building stock will be in use in 2050 and beyond, yet less than 4% of windows are repaired annually due to major disruption and high costs. Doing dominates the market. Wex Energy is changing that with a simple, low-cost solution called Window Skin. Window Skin is not a film. It delivers up to 75% of the insulation improvement of a new Energy Star window for less than 15% of its cost. Tatum Engineering validated Window Skin's energy performance, showing a 12% reduction in natural gas usage in an already certified LEED Platinum building. Window Skin is a long-lasting, clear, lightweight panel that snaps directly onto the inside window pane to create an insulating air gap. Windows open and close just as they did before. No tools, no construction, and no disruption of underlying site conditions. We can't solve climate change with solutions that only market rate properties can afford. Windowskin's price point of $11 to $17 a square foot and its quick install is why LMI building operators are among our earliest adopters. Installation is so simple that building custodians can mount Windowskins after a short 30-minute training session. Easy install makes Windowskin a perfect fit with HUD and New Jersey's Department of Labor Clean Energy job programs. Wex Energy is partnering with New York and Vermont utilities to qualify Windowskin for energy efficiency incentives. We invite PSEG to partner with us. Working together, New Jersey can achieve its low carbon economy goals, reducing energy consumption for LMI and market rate customers alike, lowering New Jersey's carbon footprint, and creating clean energy jobs in New Jersey. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you, Rachel, so much. You know, Ralph, when we first met, one of the things you talked a lot about was the very low-tech option of insulation making such a huge impact. And if more people would do that, that alone would make such an impact, which I thought a lot about as I heard this pitch today. Any questions for Wex?
Yes, so a really exciting presentation. But the write-up mentioned that the expected life range for the skin is anywhere from 20 to 50 years, which is quite a broad range. What will happen to the expected energy efficiency over that lifespan?
No, it won't. It's different than a window. In a window, you can expect your energy efficiency to degrade over time because the adhesive that's holding the double glazing together is what is deteriorating over time from the exposure to the elements. Window skin is attached to the inside of your window, inside your apartment, your home, your office. So, and it really doesn't degrade in any way in terms of its connection to the window. So it's going to deliver the same energy efficiency for you on day 1 as it does on day 20 or day 50. I mean, year 20 or year 50. And in terms of the long life of window skin, when we say 20 years, we're talking about a south-facing window that is a single pane, doesn't have a building across the street to provide shading. There are no screens on the windows or trees that are providing shading. For that single pane building, the north-facing windows can expect a 40 to 50-year life. But if you have double pane windows, you'll have that 40 to 50-year life on any exposure, any facade of the building.
Commissioner Solomon, any questions for Rachel and Wex?
I was wondering whether there was applications of the skins, window skins that could be used for new construction rather than having to retrofit buildings and homes. You know, are there applications for new construction that are available with your innovation?
Window skins will improve any window, new or old. So if the contractor or a building owner has chosen a lower quality window and wants to use window skins to improve that window, they could do that. I don't think that's the likely application for window skins, more likely to go into a retrofit in a building that's already existing and it probably at least 20 to 30 years old.
Andrew, what are your thoughts on Wex and any questions for Rachel?
Well, I know New Jersey has a goal of 100% clean energy by 2050. If you were to imagine Wex being broadly implemented, how would it impact New Jersey's ability to meet that goal?
We'd love to be a part of that goal. Windows are replaced in dense urban areas once every 75 to 100 years, and in more outlying areas, that's probably closer to 55 to 70, 80 years. The reality is that no one's replacing windows when they become energy inefficient. They replace them when the windows are broken. And so the energy that's being lost out the window is going to occur for all these windows. When I mentioned if we put window skin on all of New Jersey's aging windows, we can help bring carbon emissions down by 75 million tons. That's because it is unlikely that when your window hits year 20 or 21, you're buying a brand new window. You're probably not buying a new window until that window is 60, 70, 80, maybe 100 years old. So if you want to reduce the loss of energy out the window and therefore reduce the energy consumption that's causing greenhouse gas emissions, then putting a window skin on one of the most porous parts of the building envelope is the way to reduce carbon emissions, and a way that window skin can really play a part in New Jersey's 2050 goal of being carbon neutral.
Very typical and prominent consumer behavior that gets in the way of energy efficiency in general. We don't replace our refrigerator when its performance declines. We don't replace our air conditioner when its performance declines. We replace them when they die. And there's a multi-year period of declining performance in energy and in any energy consuming device that can justify an economic replacement. So it's not surprising that we would see this kind of extended lack of replacement of windows even long after they've become energy loss mechanisms and money literally sailing out of the building.
Andrew, any response to Rachel?
What she said made a lot of sense to me, and her response that, look, like the fact is a lot of these windows are going to go unreplaced speaks of reality. I mean, she sounds like someone who's been a landlord, you know, you know, that this is compelling in its simplicity.
Awesome. Well, Rachel, best of luck to you. Thanks again, and congratulations on making it to the finals. We'll be voting soon and announcing the awards momentarily. Erica, join us again. There we are. You're on mute in case you're not aware. What would you do with the prize winnings, the $50,000, if you were to win?
All right. So yeah, we would almost certainly use the prize money to work with PSEG, the New Jersey EDA and BPU to find pilots in the area. We have several retail customers that we've talked to extensively that have pointed us specifically in the direction of New Jersey because they already have buildings with a lot of solar on their rooftops. Actually, answering Commissioner Solomon's question from earlier, one of the reasons we're interested in New Jersey is people have actually told us that it's a really good place because there's large solar rooftops we can also fit in. We also just love PSEG's mission around LMI job training, and it's really aligned with a lot of the pilots that we've been finding as well. So would like to find a similar pilot in New Jersey. We'd also probably use some of the money to accelerate some of our testing on our full-scale turbine. We've been installing a smaller turbine so far, and it would let us move a few months faster to get the bigger turbine up and running.
Excellent. Obviously, I was kidding about Milwaukee, New Jersey. We would love to see this happen here. So good luck and congrats again.
Thanks a lot.
And next up is Yazan from Power Edison. Yazan, how would you use the winnings should you get them?
Sure. So we'd like to use the proceeds to further develop our software. It determines where the storage is needed and when. So we currently take into account electric distribution data, and we would like to also incorporate transmission and wholesale market data to have more of a holistic view over where to deploy energy storage. And the proceeds will also be used for project development. That's where the capital is most at risk. So funding development activities, which includes, sitting down with commercial and industrial entities, municipalities, and utilities to create public-private partnerships and determine effective and economical ways of deploying energy storage, all the while maximizing New Jersey jobs.
Wex Energy will leverage the $50,000 award as follows. We'll set aside $25,000 to fund Wex Energy's presence in the New Jersey LMI market. That means getting Windowskin's powerful carbon reduction and energy efficiency message in front of your community. And we'll identify the appropriate workforce development organizations in this state so that Windowskin becomes part of New Jersey's growing low carbon economy. The LMI market, by virtue of its low operating margins, depends on incentives to fund property improvements, especially for energy efficiency measures. So Wex Energy will set aside $25,000 to incentivize 1 or 2 New Jersey early adopters. And we challenge PSEG to match this commitment to New Jersey's underserved residents so that we can drive an even greater impact with PSEG's initial Windowskin installations.
Excellent. Thank you very much, and good luck to you.
Thank you.
All right. That concludes all the startup pitches. Really, really great job. You each are very different businesses, very different applications. Clearly, captured the interest of Ralph. Certainly drew some interesting feedback from Commissioner Solomon And Andrew, who has a very different point of view on these, has traveled the country looking at a variety of ways that we can improve the planet and seen some of the issues that we're facing, also weighing in with some really great commentary. So, judges, we're about to pop up on your screen the voting mechanism. If you can vote on or rank the startups, that would be great. The moment of a truth is about to be unveiled. Andrew taking this very, very seriously, which I like. Commissioner also, has a game face on. So we have a winner. Really excited. Before we unveil it, I just want to give you, first we're going to unveil it in a moment. We'll bring the startup on to receive the award. But I want to thank you all so much for being a part of the CleanTech Impact Challenge. It did serve as exactly the kind of companies we were looking for, and some ideas and introductions and collaboration with the industry overall. So I really, really appreciate that. And before we award the winner, we'll just do a couple closing remarks. The Commissioner Solomon.
It's been my pleasure. And I hope that when you have this challenge again, you will call upon me to participate. We always like to network with innovators, and we are definitely hoping that we have this opportunity again.
Andrew Yang, any closing remarks before we give away this prize?
Oh, it was tremendous to see this competition achieve exactly what we would hope, which is that great entrepreneurs were able to compete for meaningful resources, and it's one of those occasions where you can sense that you wish that everyone could gain access to these resources, to PCG, because these entrepreneurs are awesome, and I love entrepreneurs who are tackling big challenges, and this is the biggest challenge any of us is facing right now, is how are we going to leave our planet in worthy condition for my kids, for everyone's kids, for our grandkids. So really congratulations to everyone who's associated with today, particularly the entrepreneurs who've been putting their heart and soul into bringing these solutions to us.
Absolutely, wholeheartedly agree. Ralph, any closing remarks before we give away this prize?
We have 3 phenomenal finalists. I have more than a sneaking suspicion that there were many other extremely talented and worthwhile projects to Propelify and the team for bringing us these 3 difficult choices to make. And Andrew hit the nail on the head. This is an immense challenge, a huge problem for our world. And it's only through the creativity and the motivation and the ingenuity of people such as the folks we heard from today that we're going to make progress. It was just a pleasure being part of this. Thanks, Aaron.
Thank you very much. And without further ado, maybe a little further ado, I just want to thank all the folks behind Ralph and PSEG, because there are a lot that make this happen. Ginny and Rick and Kristen and so many more, and the folks on my team, Jasmine, Anna, Chris, Dan, Devin. There were a lot of moving parts to make this happen, especially virtually, maybe even the most complicated virtual thing we've pulled off. So I really appreciate that. And with that, if we had a drum, I would do it. The drum roll, please. The winner is, Ralph, why don't you unveil it? I know you know the answer. You want to tell them?
No, you.
Okay, Rachel and Wex Energy, congratulations. You won the Tech United CleanTech Impact Challenge.
Thank you. We are very
I would
excited.
ask you how you're feeling, but I think it came through.
I think we let you know. Yes, thank you.
I know you have some other members of the team. If they want to jump in the frame, they're welcome to. But congratulations. I know this is many.
Yes. Yeah.
This is many months in the making. How are you guys feeling?
Oh, we're feeling really good.
Really great.
Yes, especially because getting in front of a company, a utility like PSEG it's phenomenal. It's hard to get that kind of an introduction, get an introduction right to the top of the company, and it's phenomenal. And it's an area that we want to be in.
Yes, great. Well, I'm so glad that Tech United New Jersey could team up with these other organizations, bring this opportunity to you. It's exactly the kind of thing they were hoping to do. You guys checked all the boxes in the competition. So we've got to move on with Propelify, but congratulations. Normally we do the big high five finish, so we'll do it now. High five, boom.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Really excited about having this technology here. It's good. This is exactly the kind of thing. It addressed the issue of the future of the workforce. It addresses a practical solution. It does so with energy efficiency in mind. We think it has a lot of promise. So congratulations. Really, really excited for you.
Rachel, let's get to one of those windows behind me.
Yeah, let's get some Wex on. I was going to say the same thing, Ralph. Let's get Wex on every window we can see. There's energy seeping out all around us.
That's right.
So that concludes the CleanTech Impact Challenge. Thanks for being here. Congratulations to all the startups. Don't be discouraged if you didn't win. You still should pursue your ideas. We really appreciate it. We're going to be bringing you more of these opportunities, but that's it for now. Take care.